Sunday night football between the Ravens and Patriots is worth $100,000 to us. Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Jason Matters with Winning Bets. Thanks for hanging out with me on this episode. Back to one of our favorite contests that's on the NBC Sports Predictor app, and it's a chance to win $100,000 between the Ravens and the Patriots on Sunday Night Football. We love this game, and we also love Sunday Night Football when there's only one game to focus on. We got our bets on, we got our picks on the line. We need to sit down after the weekend, settle on in, and really just enjoy a really nice football game. You guys know how this game goes. They give you 7 questions. You got to correctly answer all 7 to win the $100,000. Otherwise, the people will be competing for a $5,000 guaranteed prize as you can accumulate points by answering each question. Let's go ahead and jump on into it and see how we'll answer these questions. Question 1 is Lamar Jackson passing yards, and you got to also give him a rushing yards. Well, he averages 248 in the air. He averages 59 per game. If we look at the Patriots defense, they're giving up 222 yards per game in the air, and they're allowing 131 on the ground. The passing average, so that would be the average, the 248 and the 222, that comes in at 235 is roughly, what the passing numbers would be. If we look at, I was curious to see what the Ravens did last season against the Patriots. A lot of the same players outside of, obviously, New England's quarterback. So I wanted to just kind of look at that game. So let's look at last season against the Patriots. Lamar Jackson got 103 passing yards, and he got 61 rushing yards. If we go last season's Patriots defense, obviously it was significantly better. I mean, this Patriots defense this year is really bad, but I wanted to look at it. So they gave up 222 yards in the air this year. They gave up 180 last year. And last year they gave up 95 on the ground. This year they're giving up 131. So you can see that the defense has obviously gotten worse. So I'm going to go ahead and lock in Lamar Jackson. Passing wise, 175 to 184 pass yards. And then the rushing, I'm going to do 60 to 69 rushing yards. And the reason I'll give Jackson the passing is relatively the same as last year, a little bit of an uptick because the Patriots defense is worse than last year's. And then the rushing, I'm just going to put in a little bit about the same, even though the Patriots rush defense is obviously better. You don't know who they're going to do the handoffs. Belichick may force the ball out of Jackson's hand into a running back with all that read option play. So I just thought that 60 to 69 was a really good range. It falls in along with his average, and it also falls in line with kind of what the game plan was last year. And I expect more of the same from Belichick. And we can see that the game plan for the Ravens will certainly be to run the ball. So if you want to go a little bit heavier than 60 to 69, I can't necessarily fault you. I just like that sweet spot there of 60 to 69 for him. All right, so question 2 is Cam Newton total yards and total TDs. Well, for passing and rushing, he's totaling his entire average is 295 yards. Don't believe the graphic here on this app. I don't understand why they're saying it's 247. Per ESPN, he's averaging 250 in the air and 45 on the ground. I'm not sure why the graphic on this game is misleading people. He's averaging 1.4 touchdowns per game. Shockingly, when looking him up, he's only thrown 2 touchdown passes all season. Just really speaks to how bad this Patriots team is struggling, all season long. The Ravens defense, they're allowing 222 yards in the air throughout the season. Again, Cam Newton was at 250. And the Ravens defense is allowing 10 passing touchdowns and 6 rushing touchdowns on the season. I'm going to go ahead and lock Cam Newton at a total of 260 to 299 yards. He's going to get 2 touchdowns. He's been rushing a lot of touchdowns, so maybe he gets a rushing touchdown. Maybe he can also get a passing touchdown. So I like maybe one of each. Or if they do what they did similar against the Jets, maybe rush in 2. So I just felt like 2 touchdowns was the right spot for Cam Newton. He's going to need to show up and have a good game and get multiple touchdowns if the Patriots want any chance of beating the Ravens. He's going to have to get 2 touchdowns. All right, so question 3, who's going to get the first touchdown of the game? You guys have been following me every week here on this game. This one's by far the one we're most successful at, so let's give it another shot. They give you Gus Edwards for the Ravens. He's got 3 touchdowns. J.K. Dobbins has 2 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson has 3 touchdowns. Remember, passing touchdowns do not count for this. You only got to count his 3 rushing touchdowns. And Mark Andrews has 5 touchdowns. Any other player for the Ravens checks in with 9 touchdowns coming from 6 players. If we look at these Patriots players, Damian Harris has 1 touchdown. Cam Newton has 8 rushing touchdowns. Again, you can't count the passing touchdowns that he has. And any other player for the Patriots has 7 touchdowns from 4 different players. A couple notes here to keep in mind here. We don't know the status of Mark Ingram. He's not one of the available players that they give you, but if he ends up being healthy, he's currently questionable for this game, but if he ends up playing, that makes the Ravens any other player really tempting here. Another thing to keep in mind, Mark Andrews, he leads in receiving touchdowns by 3, and he's second in targets, and he is by far the go-to guy there in the red zone. Rex Burkhead is the only Patriots player with a rushing and receiving touchdown. And remember, the Pats only have 3 passing touchdowns all season. I do believe that they give you 4 Ravens players against 2 Patriots players. I'm with NBC here. They did it last week. I think that the Ravens are the better team. I think they have the more likely chance to get that first touchdown. It's just a matter of me between now. Is it going to be a rushing touchdown or is it going to be a red zone touchdown? I think that maybe it'll be a red zone. I'm going to go ahead and say Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is an absolute ball hawk, and when they get in that red zone, Lamar Jackson looks for Mark Andrews. It's justified in the numbers. So I lean Mark Andrews because if they get in the red zone, I think they'll look to pass. If they look to pass the ball, it's coming to Mark Andrews' way. And if they don't, and if they run it, well, is it going to be Lamar? Is it going to be Dobbins? Is it going to be Gus Edwards? You don't know which running back's going to be in the game. It's just if they lean running to get in the end zone, it's just too many variables of who can maybe get it. Where if they go passing in the red zone, you can really bank on it being Mark Andrews. I mean, it could obviously be somebody else, but you have a higher probability of if it's throwing, it's going to be Mark Andrews versus if it's running. I mean, it could be any one of those 3 guys. And then you also throw in Mark Ingram too. So it could be up to 4 guys running the ball in, where if it's passing, you got a really good shot that ball is going to Mark Andrews. All right, so Mark Andrews it is for the first touchdown. All right, total points in the second quarter is question 4. The Patriots score 5.6 in each second quarter. The Ravens are scoring 9 points in the second quarter. That's a total of 5. That's a total of 15 points. The Patriots allow 7 points in the second quarter. The Ravens are allowing 5.5 points in the second quarter. That's a total of 13. Obviously, the average of 15 and 13 is 14. I'm just going to go ahead and say 14 points will be the combined score there in the second quarter. All right, the longest play of the game, it can either be rushing or receiving. I looked up the top 5 longest plays by each of these teams. The Ravens average is 44.4. The Patriots average is 41.8. Go ahead and lock me in at 40 to 44 is going to be the longest play. Question 6 is what's going to be the longest field goal? Well, the Ravens' longest field goal in the season is 55 yards. They've made 2 field goals at 50 plus, but their most attempted and most made range is 40 to 49, and that comes in with 8. Same for the Patriots. Their most attempted range is 40 to 49, and that comes in with 6. They've made 1 field goal over 50 yards, and that was at 51 yards. I'm going to go ahead and lock in and say 46 to 49 because you do have a really stout Ravens defense that can shut down, I believe, a Patriots team, so maybe they'll attempt a long field goal. Don't know if it'll be at 50 or more, so I'm going to go ahead and say 46 to 49. That's certainly one of the tougher questions that we've got going on in front of us. And then question 7 is always you got to give them a winner and give them that win margin. Well, the current line is Ravens minus 6.5. I think this Patriots defense just can't handle what's about to come at them from a rushing attack. The numbers say that the Ravens should have a lot of success all day running the ball. I think it's going to be more than 6.5. I like the Ravens to win the game, and it's going to be by 12 to 13 points. The margins that they give you to pick from are really tight. The way I answer these questions is I actually do all my analysis ahead of time, come up with what I think they are, and then I'll go look and see what the app is when I actually make my selections. I actually thought 13 or 14 points, 14 standalone. If I pick 13, I also get 12 missed extra points a lot of times in the NFL. So that's how I decide on the Ravens 12 to 13. That's how I'm going to round out my chances to win $100,000 on this Sunday Night Football on the NBC Sports Predictor app between the Ravens and the Patriots. All right, guys, if I've been a help to you, go ahead and like this video, comment on there, let me know what you're picking alongside with me, and let me know maybe what you're doing different. We can help each other out. We all want to win $100,000, and I wish you guys a lot of luck, and I'll see you guys on the next contest. I'm Jason Mattis. Thanks for watching this episode of Winning Bets. I'm Jason Mattis. I'll see you again when we are celebrating the wins and making more winning bets. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more winning bets.